Well, hello, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo. And as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Joe Boo Sports Report. Because without you guys, well, you know I'd still be talking because I just literally never shut up. Wow, what a day. I got to tell you, it wasn't an easy one because we had that late game, had this fantastic live stream last night, and I want to thank everybody, all over 700 of you guys that were on at one time. That's a record for the show. I appreciate all the support from all of you guys, but I want you guys to think about a couple things here. It is the 16th anniversary of September 11th, and remember about that, and remember where you were at that time. I can remember clear as bell where I was. I was actually at home sitting at my desk with a friend of mine who's now deceased, Jim, and watching that live. But that's one of those moments that you'll never forget. Also, too, all the people that are dealing with Irma, over 6 million people, I believe, without power. Everybody who's still dealing with Henry. Our thoughts and prayers need to be with those people, as well as doing anything and everything that we can to help support us. Because in the end, we're all Americans and we need to look out for each other. So if you can donate blood, if you can send $10 to American Red Cross or to United Way, it's going to be needed. It's going to be a long, long time. Even though the cameras aren't there in Houston anymore, they're going to need help. But also, too, something really tragic and really, really sad. I almost can't believe that it's happened. In fact, I'm going to light a candle for this one. We have a tragic loss, friends. Very, very tragic. In fact, I think I need to pour a drink. Well, no, not coconut rum. We'll get some Zayas rum. Because Joe Boo will need a refill. But sadly, we have lost some really good friends. We have lost the Trolls. That's right. The New York Giant Trolls have gone missing. Much the same way that last year's Philadelphia Eagle Trolls disappeared on us after they got their butts kicked. I know. It's sad. But you Trolls, this shot of rum is for you. And this moment of silence. Yeah. The Trolls. Amazing how. There's Daniel. Daniel, respect for you because you showed up. Unlike some of those other ones, some of your other brethren who have disappeared. Because I noticed I had quite a few subscribers that left the channel. And I'm believing it's some of those New York Giant ones who no longer want to be bothered with the Joe Boo Sports Report. And see, that actually really bothers me. Because I have no problem with somebody talking trash about my team. But back it up. If you want to tell me my team sucks, don't just say your team sucks, they're butt ugly, and I don't like them. Give me a reason why they suck and they're butt ugly. Don't just say that with nothing to back it up. Because I told you guys the Giants suck. I told you that the Giants aren't as good as people like Chris Sims said they were. That they are the second best team in the NFL. That they are his Super Bowl favorites. And I said Eli Manning is a turnover machine who is not an elite quarterback, who has a crappy offensive line. In fact, has a crappy offensive line and no running game. And if you think that you're adding Brandon Marshall, a third option, was going to turn the team around, you really don't know football. Because just take a look at my Dallas Cowboys. The problem with Tony Romo was, instead of focusing in on the line, the key spot on the team, it's not the wide receivers. It's not necessarily the running back. The question is, can my offensive line keep my quarterback clean and open holes for the running back? If you can't do that, you can't do jack. The Cowboys learned that lesson when we had an aging, no-name offensive line, when we were just signing Joe Smo off the streets. We learned that you need an offensive line. So we started with Tyron Smith. We moved on, got Travis Frederick, Zach Martin. And now we may have the steal. Shout out to, how about them Cowboys? Ben McAdoo needs to eat crow. Yeah, well, he wasn't talking too much today, was he? After all that smack that he talked last week. The Giants have some problems. I know my buddies at First Take, they all said it's because Odell Beckham wasn't there. And I give you that Odell Beckham would have made a difference to the team, but I still don't believe they would have won. Brandon Marsh is still a good wide receiver. Sterling Shepard's still a good wide receiver. But yet they had 4 yards in the first quarter and only around 200 yards for the whole game. Guys, that's pathetic. Especially against the Dallas Cowboy defense that if you know who's going to be covering wide receivers, let them know. Yeah. But I got to tell you what bothers me. I just put up a video because it's been a long day and I've been running around like a crazy man. But I put up a video to challenge Stephen A. Smith. I looked forward to seeing that show because they all picked the New York Giants. They're the best team in the division. Dak Prescott is going to have a sophomore slump. The Cowboy defense is putrid. They don't have a pass rush. They lost Morris Claiborne. They lost Brandon Carr, J.J. Wilcox, Church. They can't cover nobody. Even without Odell Beckham. We got Brandon Marshall out there, and we have a 2-time Super Bowl MVP quarterback. How'd that work out for you guys? How did it work out? Because if that offense doesn't play better than what it did, they got some great studs on that defense. Janoris Jenkins did a hell of a job against Dez Bryant one-on-one. But guess what? They can't stay on the field all day. You could see them gasping for air in the second half. You could tell that they didn't want no more of the Dallas Cowboys offensive line. And even with that, watching Stephen A. and crew, their whole thing was, it's because Odell Beckham wasn't there. That's the only reason why they won. Don't get too excited. Don't get too happy, Cowboys, because we still believe the Giants are the best team in the division. Did y'all watch the same game that I did? Did you guys watch that game? Have the New York Giants done anything in preseason or that game to show you that they are a great team, much less even a good team? They played against the Jets and the Browns and couldn't score a touchdown. They got 3 freaking points last night against a suspect Dallas Cowboys defense, as they always say. I said I believe that the Philadelphia Eagles were going to be second in the division. Now, again, I caution everybody, it's still the first game. We saw a lot of quarterbacks that looked like crap out there, a lot of offenses that were completely putrid. But that's expected because this is really the first time the teams are really playing a whole game of football. The first 2 or 3 games are like preseason. You don't really know what you have until about October. However, you can kind of see trends. So, like I said, don't get too excited and think you're going to the Super Bowl, but don't get too down, unless you're the Cleveland Browns or the Washington Redskins, about how putrid your team played. So, I believe the Eagles will definitely take a big step forward from where they were last year. Now, before you guys get too worried about Philadelphia, remember they were playing the dumpster fire that is the Washington Redskins. And the Redskins, oh man, I got to tell you, there is nothing better than Mondays when I get to come on here with you guys talking about football and going to work when the Redskins lose and the Cowboys win. Oh my God, it's a thing of beauty listening to Sports Talk 980. They are literally tarring and feathering the Redskins after one loss. They are literally saying, we got the wrong Gruden brother. We got the dumb one. What is this guy doing with this offense? He's got no emotion, no fire. He's got this all shuck attitude. I'm like, wow. This isn't me, a hater talking. This is Daniel Snyder's owned radio station. And Kirk Cousins, oh man, they were bringing up the Dallas Cowboy game last year. You know, Kirk Cousins, he always throws a pick at the end of the game 3 times last year. When they had an opportunity to win, Kirk choked. Wow. Now, I can understand this kind of talk if you were, 6-10. But we're only talking about the first game. But they're already having doom and gloom. They're like, next week is a must-win situation. If they don't beat the Rams with Kansas City and the Raiders up, we could be 0-4. I'm like, damn. And I'm enjoying every single minute of it because my Cowboys won, beating the New York stinking Giants. Knowing that Daniel, and although Cruzen did come in last night, so shout out to Cruzen, that the trolls would have to back down. So with that being said, I've run my mouth quite a bit here. Let me give a shout out to all you people that are here tonight. I appreciate each and every one of you guys that are here. It's actually a great thing to have this. And I tell you, I had a rough day today with my fish pond. I lost a bunch of fish and stuff. And you guys are definitely the cure. So, Crep the Hood. Okay. Simon's family. Patrick Taylor. Dak Green. What's up? Hey, just me, Joe Boo, and you guys, man. That's what's up. Jesus, Francisco, Cool Boys 05, Matt, Juicebox Hero, Cool Boys 5, Pat Lawson, Marcus Washington, Tyrone the One, Donovan. Well, Donovan, I am glad that Irma didn't stop you from watching the game. And how about them Cowboys? The Cowboys, they did it up. We still have some work to do, but hey, a win is a win. Keldon, Aisha, Patrick, Zeke. I love that. Cowboys Abroad. Cowboys Abroad. Where are you calling? Where are you located, man? Patrick Taylor, Trademark 95. Bill B. Eduardo. Dallas Cowboys for life. Story and Landing. Corey, Robert, Lewis. Jason, Jordan. Where's my girl Sarah? Brian. Cool Boys. Lewis. R&B, Jason, Jesse, Slapping Rubber. Okay, that's an interesting one. Cool Milk, Corey, geez, Chris White. Daggone, there's a whole lot of you guys here. Let me get back to you guys on this one. Jackie, there you are. There's Jackie now. Where is Sarah? Because, I only have like 7-8% ladies in here. We need to try and get a few more of the lovely ladies in here. Oh, okay. Well, Gibbs, I'm not going to quite say that one on the air, but yeah, the trolls are definitely gone. But it's okay. We'll have some Eagle ones that'll be coming around as we get closer and closer to it. Vic, St. Pete, Florida, how you doing? LBK, Salvador, MC Peppers, Reckless, Nick Parker. Well, thank everybody for joining in tonight. How are you guys feeling about the Dallas Cowboys? The one thing that I'm hearing a lot of people talking about is Dak Prescott. A lot of people are saying Dak was not, sharp. He missed some passes, and yes, he did miss a few. I'm still mystified by the 3 pass plays on the 2-yard line where you don't even attempt to have Zeke Elliott run the ball in. That was one of those ones that I kind of shook my head on, and Jason Garrett basically avoided the question. Personally, I think you try and run the ball in there. And that has been my bugaboo with Jason Garrett. Jason Garrett loves to throw the ball. Loves to throw the ball sometimes too much. There's times when you need to just get a couple of yards and be satisfied instead of going for it all. I think back to 2 games against the Lions. I believe we were up 21 and we kept passing. I think about, oh my God, the Green Bay game where we weren't facing Aaron Rodgers and we were up 26-3, yet we passed more than Green Bay, who was trying to catch up with us. I think about the catch, no catch, where people say we got robbed by the officials. But it's my contention that we should have never been in that situation to have to rely on that catch, no catch. It was 4th and 1. You had the NFL leading rusher, the best offensive line in football. Why didn't you run the ball, pick up the first down, and slowly take your time marching down the field to keep Aaron Rodgers from having the freaking ball? I think about that in the playoffs where, okay, here we go. We've got the ball. Very little time, but 39 seconds left on the clock. Instead of running the ball to run out the clock, we pass it. First down to Cole Beasley, out of bounds. Second down, incomplete pass. Third down, passing again. And all of a sudden, you leave time on the clock for Aaron Rodgers to have a miracle. So that's the thing that started worrying me when I started seeing that first down pass at the 2-yard line, second down pass at the 2-yard line, third down pass at the 2-yard line, and we're kicking a field goal. All of a sudden, it's 6-0. The Giants had went down and scored. All of a sudden, we're down, even though our defense had played spectacular. But fortunately, our offense took care of business, kept marching down the field, kept the ball away from the Giants, and our defense played lights out. Well, thank you. How about them Cowboys? I appreciate that super tweet, a super chat. You tweeted Stephen A. Smith about me and Joe Bill. Well, yeah, well, I doubt he'll respond to it, but believe me, it'll get to him one way or the other. I appreciate that. So that was my main concern of the game. Other than that, Orlando Scandrick messed up his hand. He's going to have surgery. Could be back in 3 weeks. We'll see how Terrence Williams' ankle is. Lots of adrenaline. Came back out of the field. Played well. But the next day it's going to be sore, and it'll be even more sore tomorrow. That's just how it is. Well, thank you, Xandre. I really know what I'm talking about. Well, that or I just really fake it. Well, Max, I'm glad you finally got on the stream. I appreciate everybody for being here tonight. No updates yet on Terrence Williams or, Orlando Scandrick. He's having surgery on the hand, and he'll be back hopefully within 3 weeks. And I agree with you, Ed. He was definitely trying to get Dez involved real early in the game, and he did try and force it to him a bit, basically down there in the goal line. He wanted Dez to get that touchdown. But that'll come with time. When Cole Beasley is catching balls, even on his back of his name jersey and stuff like that, you got Jason Witten, who, God, how does he always get open? As old and as slow as he is, he's playing like he's 8 years younger. And, of course, Zeke Elliott with 104 yards against that great New York Giants defense. Hey, you don't have too much to complain about. If people are talking about Dak was just not real sharp, well, okay, you got to win. But I say take a look around the NFL this weekend. What you'll notice is the defenses played a lot better than the offenses because the defense is a little easier. You don't have as many assignments and calls and things that you have to make on the defense like you do on the offense. So it takes a little time for the offense to really catch up with the defense. And it's, like I said, it's simpler. So you saw the defense is playing a lot better. But look around the NFL this week. You had Tom Brady, 16 of 36 passes. Tom Brady. Tom Brady with 5 rings. Looking bad. Russell Wilson, pathetic. Dalton, 4 turnovers. Pathetic. These are all guys that you said are great quarterbacks. Didn't do dog do. I'm sure they'll get better as the season goes on because it's still early. But if you're saying that Dak was the only one who didn't look great, well, okay. Take a look at the rest of the NFL. For whatever reason, you guys hold Dak Prescott to a higher standard than everybody else, and he doesn't get any kind of a break. I'm not sure exactly why, but I guess we're just hard because we're Cowboy fans. One more game, and I got more back. 3 more. Okay. What's up with Jordan Lewis? Jordan Lewis is still dealing with the hamstring issues, but he's getting back there. Snap, you're dumb. Okay. Well, Switzer, he did punt returns, and again, he missed pretty much all of training camp. So you don't want to all of a sudden just start throwing him out there in NFL games, being that he's a rookie. And I agree with you, Corey, that they're going to be taking their time getting him on the field and getting him up to speed. But the problem you have on this team is there's so many freaking weapons, and that was on display last night. Who do you pull? You definitely want Dez Bryant out there because Dez is taking one-on-one coverage and able to go deep. He stretches out the field. Jason Witten, you don't want to take that guy off the field, do you? All he does is catch passes. All-time leading Dallas Cowboy receiver, 7th all-time in the NFL. Terrence Williams, even after twinking his ankle, tell me he didn't have a big game last night with some really important catches. Even Bryce Butler was coming on. Oh, and then you got Measly Beasley that's in there who's catching everything, including on the back of his shoulder pads. So when you start looking at that, who you want to sit? And if you're a defensive coordinator, who are you going to stop? Cruz, I appreciate the super chat. Thank you very much. And all you guys that are doing the super chats, I appreciate every nickel of it. I'm actually working on getting a new computer that's more powerful, so when we do our live streaming, that it will be a better quality video for it. And I appreciate all that. I'm pretty close to getting it, and hopefully it'll make a better program for you guys. I'll be able to do some highlights. That is, if the NFL would stop blocking all that stuff. So thank you very much, Cruz. What's the Broncos' rank against the run? Well, it's still a little early to figure out what the rank is since they haven't played yet this season. But last year they were pretty good. I can't remember right offhand, but they were one of the top defenses last year. And they are going to be another defense that we're going to have fits with. But we're facing a team that I don't believe is going to have a quarterback or much of an offense. We'll see here in about another hour when they kick off. I'm going to watch probably the first hour of that game and see what they look like. But all of a sudden now we have Zeke back in the lineup where people were saying that we'd be lucky if we went 3-3 in the first 6 games. Okay. We got Denver. We'll see what Denver's got tonight. They've got a great defense, but the Giants had a great defense. We'll be playing on the road and at Mile High, which is always an advantage for the Broncos. It's going to be sucking air. It's going to be warm. Nice. But the Broncos don't have much of an offense. And then when you start looking at the Cardinals, I believe Carson Palmer is done. I don't think the Arizona Cardinals are as fearful with that defense without Calais Campbell. And, oh, God. Calais Campbell. Oh, my God. I'm a Cowboy fan. You hear my son over there who's watching something and singing, so. Calais Campbell. I did a few videos about Calais Campbell. I kept saying Calais Campbell would be the war daddy that this team needed. Yeah, he was getting older. Yeah, he would have cost a pretty penny. But I told you guys he had a lot in the tank. And I kept hearing, but he's a defensive tackle that only gets 7 or 8 sacks a year. Yeah. And I said, yeah, but he makes everybody on that defense better. because you have to account for them. When you get 3.5 sacks in a half of football, 4 for the whole game, that, my friends, by definition, is truly a war daddy. That was the guy that I said that they should break the bank, roll up the truck for, do whatever you had to do to put a guy like that on your team. You keep him for about 3 years until he starts getting a little longer in the tooth. You let him teach the young guys, and you let him wreak havoc for you. But unfortunately, he's not on our team. So all you guys that said, you don't know what you're talking about. I don't want that guy on our team. He's done. Well, guess who was right about that one?
10 sacks.
4 sacks
10 sacks
for one guy. Okay, well, yes, Michael. We know Jacksonville got 10 sacks, but the reason why they got 10 sacks is because you were so worried about stopping Calais Campbell that you forgot about all the other guys. He opens up lanes for everybody else. And had we put that guy on the defense with the other players we had, just pass the trophy. That's all I can say. You can just pass the Super Bowl trophy to us because it would have been unstoppable. Didn't look like pass interference on Dez. Yeah, well, maybe we did finally get one for once. That could be true. Well, the appeal. Okay, well, here's the thing. The bottom line is this: the NFL has a great record of winning court cases, and that's mainly because the fix is in. They get into the Court of Appeals in New York, which is very friendly to the NFL. Doesn't like unions very much. So that's where the NFL always tries to get the cases. Zeke Elliott and the NFL Players Association, and shout out to DeMaurice Smith, was smart enough to make sure it didn't get in New York. They got it in Texas, where they hopefully would have a unbiased judge, which they did. So the NFL, so now that he's got his injunction, which basically takes about 8 to 9 months before you actually hear a hearing. It's not something that's going to be heard next week, and that's why everybody's saying that Zeke Elliott will play this season, because it just takes that long for the Court of Appeals. What's interesting is what the NFL tried to do is basically nullify, immediately vacated the ruling of the Texas court, reinstate the suspension for now, and have the case moved to New York, which is really semantics. And generally speaking, the court system basically has about, usually, like say, chances of these things being overturned is like 7-8% is what happens about. That's the percentage of gets overturned. But they don't take the cases unless they think there's a real chance for winning. So the fact that this Texas court comes through and not only takes it, also scaves the NFL and basically says what you did was dirty, there may actually be a good chance for them to win, as opposed to Tom Brady, who basically was charged for destroying evidence. So we'll have to wait and see how that works out. Zeke will be playing all this season, so it's just kind of kicked to the curb. And regardless of what our buddies at First Take say, that he should just take the 6-game suspension and stop having his name out there, I don't think so. Because here's the thing with Zeke Elliott on this. Let's say hypothetically, after the NFL came out with their 160-page report, which sounded legitimate. Oh my God, it's 160 pages. I'd like to read those 160 pages and see exactly what's in there. Because apparently they didn't talk to anybody that mattered. So what the hell did you write 160 pages on? But had we just dropped it there and said, okay, we'll take the 6-game suspension, we'll move on, we'll be quiet, and we'll take that. From that moment on, everybody says he took the suspension. He must be guilty. He abused that woman. But at least now, hearing all the testimony that we had, which has not been good for anybody, at least in a way it clears his name of that. Now it brings out other issues, of course, possible drug use in college and getting her pregnant and the dirty laundry, Lucky White. I mean, it's just dirty. I mean, it's truly tabloid like. But in the end, at least it makes you think that okay, maybe he didn't do it, and maybe he just had a crazy girlfriend. One of those ones that you just it's poison, so to speak. Um, well, Williams, I agree with you. It was definitely a good win, and it would be nice to go ahead and beat them with Odell Beckham on the field, because everybody's using that for the excuse. That's what all my Giant friends are saying. Oh, well, we didn't have Odell Beckham. Well, okay. When we didn't have Des Bryant or Tony Romo, we didn't hear you guys say, "Oh, well, it's okay. You didn't have Tony Romo." You guys are still bragging about the 3 games you won in a row, including the one that Tony Romo didn't play in. You didn't say, "Oh, it's okay. You didn't have Tony Romo. We won't count that one." So a win's a win. So don't give me that crap that oh, we only won because we didn't have him. Hey, you play with the guys you have in your field on your team. You still have that same helmet on there with the logo. So don't give me that. It would be interesting to see if the NFL does get sued, and it's interesting that Jerry Jones has kind of come out, and Zeke Elliott, of course, has basically said, "Hey, I'm just glad to be playing football right now and being with my teammates and having an opportunity to clear my name." So he is definitely feeling a sigh of relief. Now, I'm not recommending you guys do this because it may turn your brain to mush. But if you watched First Take like I did, what's funny is you had Donovan McNabb on there, and he was saying that Ezekiel Elliott looked out of shape to him. I said, what? Didn't the man run for 104 yards against the Giants? First time he's run for 100 yards against the Giants in 3 games? Didn't I see him literally dragging some guys across their first downs? Didn't I see him catch, 5 passes out the backfield? Did you guys think that Zeke Elliott was out of shape? I know I didn't think he was out of shape. Now, here's the scary thing. If he is out of shape and he's getting in shape, watch out, everybody else, because he's really going to be running roughshod over him. Marcellus, how did you miss the game, dog? What is going on with that, man? Well, his name has definitely been drugged through the mud. I agree with you, Breakup D. One other thing, though, guys, speaking of missing the game, this is going to be difficult. We may or may not be starting this new job that we have coming up that's going to be working nights 5 days a week from 6 to 2 a.m. So it may end up being that I am going to be missing some of our live streams. So we may end up having to make them all on Sunday nights instead of during the week. But we'll see if that job is going to kick off next week. We've got some more issues with it. Well, Ray Dog, where's the picture of Joe Boo's wings, man? You got to show me those. Yeah, yeah, right, Daniel. I agree with you. Donovan McNabb was always out of shape his career. We're talking about a guy who threw up on the field at the Super Bowl. He has the nerve to talk about somebody else not being in shape. Get out of here with that. Well, I'll say this much. I won't say I agree with you, Jermaine. I won't say he was out of shape. I'll say that he didn't have a lot of practice because with everything that's been going on, he only played in one preseason game. And how many rushes did he have? 5 or 6? So he didn't play a whole lot. So it still takes a little bit to get back into hitting those holes at full speed and knowing exactly where everything is. So I think he's going to be fine. And I look at him playing against the defense that he played against, and he got 104 yards. I'm okay with him where he is. That Bob, I got to tell you, it's I was amazed when I met Zeke. I thought Zeke was maybe about 5'9", 5'10" or so. Zeke is about 6'2". Because literally he was towering over me. I was like, damn, this is a big. I'd hate to have to try and tackle him down. He is huge, and I got to tell you, Dak Prescott is built like a linebacker. Dak, I loved the way he used his legs last night when he needed to. They're not using the offense like an RG3 where they're going to try and run the fuck out of him. They're using him strategically when they need to, and he knows, okay, nothing's there. I can pick up the first down. I love that. And when you look at him, you're not afraid that he's going to get knocked the F out. You look at a guy like, say, Sam Bradford with his bird legs. When that guy runs, you feel like he's going to get knocked out. But I feel great with Dak Prescott. I think he's going to be an incredible quarterback. And so far has not hit that sophomore slump. Max G, I like that comment. You're getting your friend to watch football because of Zeke. He literally said, "You'll get me to watch because you see how many people it takes to take down Zeke." And it takes down quite a few because you see him. He is just like a beast when he's running. Say, man, how you doing tonight? The Saints are definitely looking bad. The Saints, here's the thing, though. Saints have not looked good in a while. I mean, since we had one of the Ryan brothers down there, he screwed up that defense the way he screwed up ours. And it's basically Drew Brees and Sean Payton is just kind of holding on for, what used to be. And that's a case of you have a short window. Football, winning it all, you literally need everything to fall in place. You need to go ahead and draft well. You got to get lucky with keeping people healthy. You've got to be able to coach lights out and have great game plans to keep people guessing. And you need a bit of luck. But the problem is you can't stay there because when you're good, people want your coaches. They want your players. Players want to get paid. And so keeping that core of people together is difficult. And so that's where the Saints are. They kept living with the same guys, Drew Brees and things, and they haven't been able to really reload like they did before. That's why I say, and I don't want to go here with this now because we're in the beginning of this season, but if Jason Garrett lays an egg this year, if we have to look at another coach, Gruden would be a good coach for this team. And the reason I say it is because there's two types of coaches. You have the Bill Parcells, which are team builders. Everywhere Bill Parcells went, he built a team from nothing. He put talent on the roster, and the teams flourished even after he was gone because he knows how to pick up talent. But then you have other guys that are not so good at getting talent. Mike Shanahan's one of those. John Gruden is another one. Shanahan, when he went to Denver and won those 2 Super Bowls, the team was already built. John Elway was already there. And it was him that took it to another level to win the Super Bowls. When he went to Washington and had full control over the team because the Redskins said, hey, 2-time winning Super Bowl coach, that guy knows what it takes to win. He was a disaster at building a team. Same thing with Gruden. Gruden had a team with talent there because of Tony Dungy, but couldn't win the big one. Got there and took that talent to another level. But when that talent aged out, he couldn't rebuild. And here we are with the Cowboys. The great thing about the Cowboys is I don't need you to build a team. Will McClay is putting talent on the field. You can't argue with having that. Any coach who is worth anything that would have the best offensive line in football, the best running back in football, a stud rookie quarterback, a future Hall of Famer tight end, a top 10 wide receiver, and great role receivers in there will be drooling. And next year you got 10 picks. You got $15 million in cap space. These guys are all young. Yeah. You get a coach who can really coach some guys to take it to the next level. Boom. You're good for the next couple of years. And you've got somebody who can build the talent up on there. Now, don't get me wrong. I've never been a fan of Jason Garrett. I never have. But I would hate to think that we would waste this season. So I'm hoping, I'm praying, I'm begging. Joe Boo is putting the mojo for Jason Garrett. That he's the one to take us to the Super Bowl because I don't want to end up feeling like I did last year. after Aaron Rodgers, fucking Aaron Rodgers, threw that play. They kicked that field goal, and we lost. I don't want that feeling. I want a ring. I want to shut up Stephen A. Smith and the rest of those haters out there. Now, our defense. Let's talk about our defense. How about D-Law? Tank Lawrence. My man, 2 freaking sacks. He's healthy, had the back surgery, great shape. He's hungry, and he's in a contract year. He knows he's got to play lights out to get paid. And he came out there last night like a man on fire. When they did that twist stunt, they left Flowers, and Flowers has to be one of the worst left tackles in football. The Giants need to realize we effed up, and we wasted that number 1 pick on that guy because he sucks, flat out. Collins goes outside, Lawrence comes inside, free as a bell, boom, smacks him. But not 1, but 2 sacks, and plenty of pressures behind it. And we also had Topper with the sack. Stephen Paya was on half of the sack with Lawrence. So all of a sudden, we had 3 sacks and what could have been a 4th one that was ruled not a sack. All of a sudden, we got some pressure. And then we've got Jalen Smith. Now, I started watching the clips a little bit more today. Didn't get as much of it as I wanted to. Jalen actually played better than I thought he did. He did hesitate on that first play that he was literally in the hole. And instead of attacking the hole downhill to meet the runner, he kind of waited there and kind of broke down and wasn't sure exactly where to go. And basically, it looked like a bullfighter with the good old towel. Just kind of missed the guy. Another one, he kind of looked a little slow, but I think it was just maybe it was the excitement of being his first game in the NFL. Not sure exactly going full go how that foot and knee were going to hold up. But I believe 6 or 7 tackles, not bad. Not bad at all. So we'll hopefully he'll keep on playing like that. Let's get back to some more of your questions. Well, John, Jay Richard, that's what I'm telling you. Parcells, well, he can coach too. But John Gruden would be one that could hopefully take the Cowboys with the talent you have because you've got talent across the board. And you put another year on this defense. When you get, hopefully, David Irby back past the good old PEDs and stuff, when he takes another step and all of a sudden becomes a lot better because now he's got other people in that line people are worried about. You got Collins in there who is beginning to really take over games and really step up even from his rookie year last year. We still haven't even scratched the surface yet of Tyrone Crawford as well as some of the other guys. All of a sudden, you've got some good guys that are going to be better next year. You know Jalen Smith is going to be better after basically his rookie year this year. He's going to be better. You look at the defensive backfield that we've drafted. As those guys get there, you're looking at a defense 2-3 years from now that's going to be able to be dominant. Oh, and we do have draft picks for next year as well. So right now, we are in great shape as far as talent-wise. We just got to make sure that our coaching is there to get us there. Can we ask Skip Bayless to switch to another team? I wouldn't mind that one at all. But boy. Well, Dallas Girl for Life, thanks for joining in tonight. Richard Sherman is definitely a game changer, and I would have loved it. I thought for sure that Sherman was going to get traded, and he wanted to come to Dallas with all the stuff that's going on. But I can guarantee you that here's what's going to happen in Seattle. After that performance of Russell Wilson yesterday, if this season goes south, and if Russell Wilson looks bad, you're going to see Richard Sherman kind of going off and really become a distraction for that team. And if it goes south early, you watch. Seattle might be interested in moving him just to kind of get rid of it, realizing that we have to start over on the team because, again, that's another one of those teams that they were fortunate to draft Russell Wilson when they did because they didn't have to pay him a boatload of money, kind of like what we've got with Dak Prescott. So they were able to sign their core players and make moves of free agencies that made sense. Cliff Avril has to be one of the best free agent signings that have been out there other than Reggie White. Cliff Avril is one of the few free agent moves that lasted more than 2 years. Because generally speaking, when you sign a big player, you rarely see him anywhere for more than 2 years. Because usually they're a disappointment and they're not worth the money they're paid. But Cliff Avril, coming from the Lions, going there, and I got to be honest, we got to thank Cliff Avril for getting Dak Prescott out there when he did, taking out Tony Romo. But he has been one of those guys that have been great. Problem is, they haven't been able to reload that talent again, and that team is aging, and they're slowly going downhill. Their offensive line is not that good. Russell Wilson took a beating last year. Their offensive line is still not that good this year. So they've already hit their peak, and they're on the way down. And I feel like Green Bay is there as well. Now, again, they looked really good last night against Seahawks. The question you have to ask is Green Bay really looking that good, or was Seattle also looking that bad? And we'll find out as the season goes on. Tony Dungy. Oh, yeah. Tony Dungy, great guy, great motivator, doesn't cuss, doesn't yell, but has a way of getting people to work. He just could not get Tampa Bay over that hump. Well, Jay Jones, I agree. Personally, I would have run the ball in. That kind of brings you back to Seattle trying to throw the ball into the end zone when they had Marshawn Lynch in the Super Bowl. I would have run the ball personally, but hey, I'm not. What do I know? I'm a guy with a voodoo doll and a day job, so I'm just giving you my opinion. But I agree, they tried to force it too much. Oh, Richard, I mean, Seattle offense just looked terrible all the way around. And you're right, Eddie Lacy did not look like much of anything. Um, Josh Manning, 24. Yeah, you can sign free agents at any point during the season as long as they're not tied to a team, because hence they are free agents. So, yeah, we ended up bringing in an offensive lineman, I believe, the last game of the season. As long as they're cut from another team, you can sign them. Now, there's the trade deadline, which is sometime in October. You can't make trades after that time. But free agents, you can sign at any time. And it's basically out of necessity because you're going to lose players left and right constantly. And you're always going to be looking at other guys, practice squad players and things like that, or guys that you brought in and didn't quite make the 53-man roster, and you can bring them in later on. Um, Green Bay's defense is just that bad. Okay. TJ Watt TJ had a hell of a game. Definitely looks like a gamer. Heck, he might even be better than his brother. His brother seems like he has a hard time staying healthy. As great as he is, I mean, he ended up hurting his thumb yesterday, the back last year. The question you have to ask is how many good years does he really have left? New York State's defense making Sam Bradford look like Joe Montana. Yeah, that's doing something. Um, Cruising with a blue bruising. Oh, I love that. Um, okay, Donald Trump. All right. Yeah, Tapper didn't look bad for basically his first game. Again, that's another one of those guys that working with Rod Martinelli, it's definitely going to get better and better. And that's what you'll typically see with a lot of these guys is as the season goes on, they really come on. David Irving, when he first started out last year, didn't do a whole lot, but by the end of the year, he became a beast. Um, well, Breaking D, I agree with you. Actually, Kansas City, thus far this week, was definitely the best looking team, without a doubt. Beating New England in their stadium at their Super Bowl party, yeah, I definitely have to give you that one. Um, Nothing to say. Um, Jalen Smith will be a Pro Bowler next year, Ed. I'd like to see that. Redskins look like a 7-9. Are you kidding me? Redskins at 7-9. I'm not sure they're going to be that good. They've got the Rams, and the Rams all of a sudden actually look pretty decent. And the Rams, here's the thing: the Rams have an incredible defense. You think Kirk Cousins is going to do well against that defense next week? And then you got the Raiders and Kansas City. The Redskins could be 0-4 to start the season. So where are you going to get those 7 wins that they're going to get? Yeah, that's one of those ones, Williams. Yeah, you sign AP and you give him 5 snaps. Yeah, that made a whole lot of sense. It really did. Sorry, these things are going by real quick, and it's not a matter of me trying to ignore them. I'm not wearing my glasses because the glare pops off of them and it looks kind of ridiculous, so it's hard to read sometimes. Well, thank you, Taylor. I appreciate that, man. I wonder if, for wearing the Jobu t-shirt, I wonder if Dak wears his underneath this jersey. Wouldn't that be interesting? Josh, thanks for checking in from Waco, Texas. Well, Jeffrey, you know what? As far as Chaz Green goes, Chaz, it's never been a problem with ability. The problem with Chaz Green has been staying healthy. He got nicked up a couple times in camp. He's had starts before, and after a start or two, usually he's kind of done. If he can stay healthy, he looked fantastic pulling, getting downfield. He looked great on their pass blocking. I mean, for the most part, we only gave up 1 sack last night to the Giants, which are a great defense. That offensive line did a pretty good job. Yeah, okay. Well, Kyle, you know what? That's the hater mentality when you had Rodney Harris saying that the Giants' defense made it too easy for Dak. Because here's the problem, and I've said this before, and I wish I could find a good name for that offense. But to me, it's like a Hydra. And Hydra is not a great name for anything, but it's true. Who are you going to stop? You can't take away, you can't focus on one thing and think that it's going to stop that offense. If you looked at how Dak Prescott distributed the ball around, you've got, boom, Terrence Williams gets the ball. Then Dez gets one. Oh, Dez also gets a pass interference penalty that moves it way downfield. You got Ezekiel Elliott who's running the ball, getting 4 and 5 yards a clip. You got Cole Beasley in the slot. Oh, don't forget Jason Witten. You can't cover everything. It's too much to stop. So, those guys saying, oh, well, defense just made it easy on them. What did they do to make it easy on them? You had Janoris Jenkins. He was blanketing Dez Bryant all over him, pushing the man outside, hand checking left and right. What did they do to make it easy for the Cowboys? Because I must have missed it. Because I saw my offensive line dominating. I didn't see those guys just rolling on the ground like, say, an Albert Haynesworth or anything. They were playing to win. If anything, it would be the Giants' offense made it easy for our offense because the Giant offense couldn't do jack crap. I know they were missing Odell Beckham, but maybe what you do is you take Brandon Marshall and you put him in his spot. And you gotta try and use him because Lord knows he got 1 catch last night. That looks like some wasted money. You try and do some things to help your offense along, and it didn't seem like they did anything at all to try and help that offense. But hey, I'm not trying to give Ben McAdoo any help. He knows everything. Yeah, chump. Well, Todd, give it time. Switzer will get out on the field. Here's the thing. He didn't play much as far as preseason because of the hamstring. You don't want him to go out the first game and get knocked out. So you had him on punt returns, and you're getting him in there slowly but surely. How about the Cowboys? Thank you for the super chat. Oh, definitely hurts them. And you know what? That's not wishing bad things on people. How about the Cowboys? Sometimes it's luck that happens to get a team to the Super Bowl. Did I say that? But having Odell Beckham miss the first game, okay? I don't think Odell Beckham would have won the game for the Giants, but it would have made it a lot closer game than what it was. We were fortunate that he wasn't there. for the Cardinals to end up losing, David Johnson. That definitely hurts them. Well, okay, it's a bonus for us. That makes things a little bit easier. It's like sometimes you get lucky that things happen and fall in place that you keep winning. If you go back to one of the last Super Bowls that the Giants won, they went in at 9-7. There were literally, I think, 5 or 6 games that they could have lost because of one play. Had they lost any one of those games, they would have never made the playoffs and would not have been Super Bowl champions. But they had things that just kind of happened to fall right. And there were missed calls. There were missed field goals by other teams that should have won the games outright. But they had a bit of luck, got to that Super Bowl, and everybody, the Giants, two-time Super Bowl MVP. But one call made differently, it wouldn't have happened. Lyle Collins, you're right, Snap Johnson. I forgot to talk about him. My boy, Lyle. He's one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. Very personable, great smile and everything. Even cute with kids. Until he gets on the football field. And then my man is a beast. He did a hell of a job on JPP. He did have one penalty. JPP kind of hooked him and took him down as a tackle. I'm not mad about that because I think back to last year with Doug letting them free out there. How many penalties do we get with him a game? How many times do guys just blow past him? I ain't mad at Lyle. Lyle did a hell of a job on JPP. Yeah, you're right, Huggy. They'll be moving Switzer in, slowly but surely the offense. And, he's got to get used to being out there and going full blast. He has not done that yet. Eric, you were at the game. You lucky ass, man. Ugh. I would have loved to have been at the game. I would have loved to have been tailgating out there, talking with you guys and stuff. I'm still working on trying to get to some games and things. I'm definitely going to be at the Redskin game here at FedEx Field. I think I'm going to go to New York so I can bitch slap all the Giants. And I'm definitely going to go to at least one, maybe two in Dallas. I'm hoping it'll be the Green Bay Packer game because I want to throw some bad mojo on Aaron Rodgers because I hate that punk. Johnny, man, I can't tell you. Everybody, I keep getting people that keep taking a double take on Michael and thinking that he looks like Dak Prescott. He just does. I don't know. For all I know, maybe I'm Dak Prescott's long lost dad or something. I don't know. If he is Dak, if you're my son, let me know. Give me a call. But no, straight up, it's just Michael just is his doppelganger. That's all I can tell you. And Michael is watching EDP and laughing.
He like giving up the season.
EDP is good. They've won.
No, he said he's already canceling the whole season.
Oh, he's happy with one victory and ready to go home?
No. He's saying that the season is over. Because it's like it's over.
Okay.
I'm not impressed. It's over.
Michael is laughing at EDP because EDP is already canceling the season, even though after they won. That's when you know.
They had like 3 or 4 injuries, key injuries.
Okay, well, that's when you know your team really sucks. That your fans, even though you win, are giving up on you.
They had 4 bad injuries in that game.
We got the camera moved over here. Baxter, very few. Daniel is the only one that's in here. Most of them have gone side. It's just cricket for most of the Giant fans. Get to next week. We will be breaking down Denver's game plan later on in the week. Right now, we're just enjoying the afterglow of having that first game. EDP, shaking my head. I agree with you on that one. And with that being said, it's already been a freaking hour. Time always flies with you guys. I appreciate all the support. Thank everybody for all the super chats. Let me make sure that I got everybody. I got. I must have missed one in there. How about them Cowboys for a couple one? Aquelas. I'm sorry if I butchered your name. Cruz. And how about the Cowboys a couple more times? And Johnny 24. I appreciate all the super chats. I appreciate all the support, all the comments, all the likes, and all the subscriptions. Because without you guys, I would be nothing. And it's so great to finally have the football season here. Even if my son over there laughing like crazy while we're trying to do the super chat. Do this whole thing over here. He's killing me. But I appreciate all the support from you guys. Make sure you guys go out there and take care of guys like Shango. Make sure you take care of guys like Law Nation, Cowboys Nation, and all these other YouTubers, because we do the best that we can to keep you guys entertained. And it's not easy, and it's a labor of love. And the more you guys support us, the better it makes all of us feel. And with that being said, Monday's in the book. We will see you guys on Friday night. And of course, with any news that's breaking on the Cowboys. I'm Mark Holmes. This is Cowboy Joe Boo. And how about them Cowboys?